Can you hear me?
Yep. Hear me?
Yeah. Are you going to get on your computer next?
Yep. I'll open up my laptop.
Okay. I'll wait to make you the moderator until we got Ryan Casey coming in. What's up, Ryan? You are now the co-host in case I drop and Caleb drops. All right, I'm going to start letting people in. I didn't know I was on mute there. Hey, Caleb.
Yes.
How's it going? Do you think I could email you and you could send out an email to the Scale members with a calendar invite for the manager training call?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. I will send you an email while we're on here, just with the link there.
Cool. Do you want that to go out? When do you want that to go out?
I don't care. I put it in the text groups already. So, but maybe
Okay.
email there whenever.
Cool. Sounds good.
Build attendance on there.
For sure.
Let's see here. So I was in and out of Justin's call. I'm assuming it was good. I was in there for the first part. Yeah, the first guy is pretty high level stuff. Like the first guy made me not want to invest in any cannabis company because he's like, oh, their products are garbage. Their products are garbage. Their products are garbage. That company is, it's like, you wouldn't know that stuff unless you had like super inside knowledge. Yeah. Dude, that's like what you just said is kind of the key to everything. And there's like, you let people in, Caleb?
Yeah, is your video off for a reason?
Yeah, I don't want people to see my face.
Okay, I figured so. Yeah, I'll start admitting people.
Hey guys, Art Wrightson.
What's up, Art?
Eric, good to see you, man.
Same.
It's been a while since I've been able to make it live, so to be on.
Good to have you on. Here they come. Everyone's hopping in. Caleb was just over at my house. We were in my gym
Hey, nice.
in the shop doing, we weren't doing a workout. That's where we kind of collaborate and get a lot of stuff done. Huh, Caleb? He's on mute. We
That's
try to
right.
get a lot of stuff done.
Nice.
Interrupted
we do.
Interrupted by the girls coming to get a drill so they can put together a rabbit hutch.
Impressive that they can handle the drill.
Yeah, well, I don't. It'll be impressive
Because I cannot.
They're learning all kinds of stuff.
So Eric, were those blue eggs we saw in those pictures too, or they just kind of look blue from the angle of the light?
No, they're blue eggs.
Okay.
We got designer chickens. You just can't have normal chickens.
Well, okay. All right. Just curious. I could tell I've seen the other colored eggs, but I've never seen blue chicken eggs before. So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
He just left them out there too long.
Exactly. I didn't know, like with real chicken eggs like that, they when I say real, meaning they on the farm, you don't wash them with soap and stuff. You just like rinse them off, because if you wash them with soap, that takes off this protective layer that they're supposed to have. So anyway, more than you guys wanted to know today.
Chris Epp, are you talking or are you on mute? You talking to yourself over there?
I said, you might have heard that from a lazy farmer. I don't think I'd buy that one.
That's what we tell ourselves over here. Who was on the call yesterday with Jim Dew? Good stuff. I heard. Yeah, I heard a lot of good feedback from you guys on that. So probably start doing, I got so many people, we're doing stuff for scale, but I'll open up stuff from time to time for everybody like that. And I'm getting emails right now from people that were on it. All right, I'll give it another 60 seconds and we'll get started. So Caleb emailed everybody this 90-day game plan and the big breakthrough worksheet. So if you guys want to find that, you guys can print it off, it'd be good. If not, you can kind of just write stuff down, just kind of take a visual of it and write down. And we're not going to go super deep into it because I want to have this discussion time as well. So this will be like an overview of the 90-day game plan.
Do you know when he emailed that, Eric? Is it today?
Caleb, can you put a link in the chat as well? We have a Google Doc with it.
Yep, definitely. And that was just like 45 minutes ago that would have been.
Shoot, I thought I was going to beat you, Caleb. I still might. Oh my gosh. That was close.
The photo finish.
So welcome everyone. There's a copy of in the chat and an email with PDFs of the big breakthrough worksheet and the 90-day game plan that we're going to discuss today. Some of this, well, both of those two things are things that I do at the mastermind called War Room that I'm a part of. Roland Frazier, many of you guys know who that is. He leads one of the leaders of that mastermind. And we go through this exercise every time we get together, and it takes a while to do. My goal is not to take a while to do it today, but to have some discussion, some interaction, but basically let you guys know how to fill that out. And I do want to do some type of group interaction with it as well. But this is like I said, we all do this. And Ryan Dice, who is the main founder of that mastermind, he's also the founder of Digital Marketer. He's the one that leads this session, and he does this every quarter himself. And then he also does it with his team. So as we're going through this, think about how you could do this with your team to help bring some discussion and just keep that in mind. So it's not just for you here. So before I get into that, there was any big wins out there? Anybody want to share some big wins of the last month? Chris Sapp unmuted himself. He's got to have something.
Yeah, we had a big one. We actually hired another full-time driver for our dumpster business. So my original driver that we hired to evolve into an operations manager / GM is now fully in the operations manager role. So still have some things that he has to learn and develop, but excited about having him handle a lot of the day-to-day and allowing me to kind of step away and be more strategic about how we do things. So
love it, man. That is awesome. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick, you're the one that told me, let's share some wins, weren't you?
Yeah.
Do you have anything to share?
Well, I guess the biggest thing for me right now is, I had that partnership deal and I got some clarity and I really decided to go solo. So that was kind of a big decision that was difficult to make. So I've been hunting real estate. I got a couple really good properties lined up to hopefully get my second store open. Franchise has approved that, to kind of go forward. So just having clarity and, has been a huge one for me. And so I'm just excited to get another store open, which has been a long project. So excited about that.
Dude, that's awesome. That is big, getting clarity on something like that. And I know you and I were texting back and forth on stuff at different times. I wasn't a whole lot of help, but just sometimes it's good just to process stuff. And, if there's anything huge red flag or something, I would have, obviously said something. But that's awesome to get that clarity. Anybody else? Big wins. And a big win doesn't have to be like massive. It's clarity. It's not like, it's so anybody else?
Eric, it's Art. We hired a virtual assistant, first virtual assistant, and it 100% started here in the mastermind. One of the first few meetings, I think you brought on your assistants. And then through the partnership of this group, Terry O'Donnell pulled a group of us together. And we've been offline working through that. And this week, the virtual assistant started and it's been good. It's been really good, man. And doing some of the things that I may have used to do on my own, now handing off.
Love it.
Yeah,
Love
so
it.
I'll piggyback off that. I'm with that group, and I hired two VAs. Art, Terry, thank you guys for your knowledge through that. And I don't know if you saw my message on Telegram, but I started using a software called the Hubstaff to monitor them, and it takes screenshots so you can pay them through there. It does all their timekeeping, project, all that stuff. So it's been great.
I think this is a masterclass we're going to have for everybody in the next few months to kind of learn what's working in the franchise world, with you guys using virtual assistants and whatnot. So Caleb, in a month or 2 or 3, let's revisit with everyone to see how it's going and lessons learned. So that's awesome, guys. I'd love to hear that.
I'll share, Eric. So we own My Salon Suite locations in Tampa and Charlotte and in Atlanta. And in Charlotte, we have operational partners there. They are sweet friends of ours that actually became entrepreneurs after watching us for a couple years. They joined the system and wanted that lifestyle. So they are the boots on the ground. And we opened our first location there in May of last year. And we opened at, I think, 30% pre-leased because of COVID. And I think our system-wide average is 50%. So that was below. And we have just struggled during a pandemic, and we had a lot of competition, like about 7 competitors in that 3-mile radius that we're all trying to backfill as well. But this week we hit 100% leased for the first time there. And we have a second location with those partners under construction. We're in week 1 of a 12-week build out, and we already have 31 out of 37 suites pre-leased. So they have learned from experience and are master closers now. And it's just such a different experience, but I'm so thrilled for them to experience that win, as well.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Anybody else before we go on? All right. So I'm wondering how much to share. So I was in Miami this last weekend, and at a big mastermind. When I say big, it's just an expensive one and lots of cool stuff. But my goal there is just to build some more relationships. So I'll have some. I'd like to get, for the scale members, Jordan Belfort. He's a Wolf of Wall Street, so he's reformed Wolf of Wall Street, but he's got some pretty good stories. But he's just just an interesting guy and very helpful. So I've got his cell phone number. So I think he'll be doing one of the presentations coming up in one of the scale events, one of the quarterly scale events that we have coming up. But he's very, like, the guy's very relational and very helpful. I also got to spend time with Dave Meltzer, and Dave came into the mastermind to share one time. And we've been in I've been in communication with him and his assistant, and he's going to come onto the podcast. But he is absolutely serious about just helping out. I'm like, what can I do for you? He's like, I just love to help. Like, you will be able to help me at some point, but I'm a networker and I love to help. So I had dinner with him. It was me sitting next to him and then a couple people on his team. So it was really fascinating just to get to know him a lot more, and just such a good guy. So I had a really good time. Got to see Floyd Moneyman Mayweather, come through and do a presentation, a thing like that. We're all having dinner. He comes up and he gets interviewed, and it was really cool to see him and whatnot. But there were a lot more people that were a lot more impressive than him. Just, from people just doing stuff and being in their businesses and just having it was cool to see him, but I was definitely just not that impressed, which is a kind of a weird thing to say. There were some rappers on there. I didn't know who all of them were. Some of them were doing some interesting things as well in business and had really interesting mindsets. There's a crypto guy there that I didn't know who he was, but apparently everybody in crypto knows who he is. And so we had a really interesting conversation with him, and really got me thinking more and more about crypto. And so if any of you are into crypto, let me know, because I'm starting to do a lot more in that world. And so, like, with that said, no fair. So 2 Chainz, you know who 2 Chainz is? All of you probably do. But I didn't. So and then Ricky, the guy that what's that song? I can't remember. There's another guy there too. That was good. But crypto to guys, I get private messages and public messages. You guys are throwing me all off here. But if you guys are interested in doing more with crypto, wanted to get into some of the groups that I'm looking at with crypto, let me know, because that's super, super interesting. I'm going to be putting a decent amount of money into it and learning. So one of my personal friends here in Spearfish, South Dakota, put in $75,000 in August, and he's not just doing crazy stuff like on a bunch of altcoins, but he's got that. It's at 1.7 million right now, his portfolio. So 75,000 to 1.7 million. I'm having breakfast with him tomorrow just to learn. So one of the reasons that you guys, and I'm just trying to give you insight into my world. One of the reasons I opened up that masterclass yesterday is because I wanted to be able to have a larger group to bring people in that want to speak to larger groups. And one of them is I want to understand, whether it's just different alternative investment asset classes or whatnot, or people that are into crypto and want to share on that. I want to have a platform that is bigger than just the mastermind to be able to do that. But a lot of you guys that are in Scale Mastermind, a lot of that I will reserve Q&A for the people that are in Scale. But just so you know, I'm wanting to grow the audience a bit more in that entrepreneurial world, or people that are in corporate America that want to learn some of this investing stuff. And it'll just be my typical, invite really good guests on, and then share that freely with people. So if you guys know anybody that would be interested in that type of stuff, let me know. And I probably will have my buddy Justin Donald on because everybody always loves listening to Justin. So he'll probably come in and share some stuff at different times as well, because I just have so much respect for him. So that was my time in Miami. A lot of really good friends made, and you'll be meeting them in the future here.
Dude, you didn't call me?
I know. I flew in and I got out of the hotel. Well, we were at the Versace mansion, just in and out.
You
And
got dinner?
then we were someplace, we were at another place on Star Island or something like that on the water there, just in and out. Other than that, it was at the hotel. So it's just fast and furious. All right. I want to get into the 90-day game plan. Do you guys have that in front of you? All right. So 90-day game plan. And again, I'm just going to kind of give a general overview. So why don't you get out your, whether you have a piece of paper and you're going to kind of go through this, what we have here, or you actually have that printed out, just get your pen and paper, pencil and paper, what do you have, and get it ready. But here's the thing with the 90-day game plan. It's really a look back, a look at now, and a look forward. So, and I'll give some time. I'll just go over this real quick, and then we'll spend about 5 minutes and then just fill it out, and then we'll come back. And again, this exercise normally takes a lot longer, but I want to give you guys a framework so you guys can just do it. But some of you guys in the past 90 days have been crushing it. There's things that you've absolutely crushed it with, and there's some of us that are getting crushed right now. And I've filled this out for years. And there's times when I was getting crushed when I was filling this out. And there was times that I was just on top of the world filling it out. The last time that I did this, about 2 to 3 weeks ago, there was just a lot of really good stuff going on in my life and in business right now. So, but at other times there was really difficult things going on. So it doesn't matter what season you're in, if you're just crushing it or you're getting crushed right now. But we want to take a look back. And so that's really what the past 90 days is. As you take a look back, whether it's January, February, or March, look back. And it's kind of good to look at that, even open up the calendar to see what you've been doing, where you've been, what events you've gone through, what are some of the big milestones that you've had to go through. What are you proud of and what do you regret? Because we look back not to dwell on the past, but we look back to be able to learn from it and learn from our, you saw me post about it maybe one time. We learned both from our successes and from our failures. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. What are we proud of? And you guys can write your stuff down as I'm talking. But what are you really proud of the last 90 days? So some of those successes, and maybe it's decisions that you made. And then what do you regret? What are those things that you look back and you're like, if I would have done this differently? And these are paired opposites, what we're talking about here. They're also extremes. So the proud and the regret are extremes, and we often look at life like that. So again, this is an exercise that you can do with your team to uncover some stuff in their departments or whatever, and it really gives you insight into them. So this will give you insight into you and insights into your teams. And sometimes, I do like to learn from successes, but success isn't always the best teacher. We learn so much from our failures and so much from failures of others. And, think about it. When you're listening to people talk, people are presenting, they talk about the mistakes that they've made. And those are really the things that really stand out to me. So in the past 90 days, what are you proud of and what do you have regrets for? I'll just give you a couple, just like 60 seconds, and we'll finish that up, and then I'll move into the present. So as you look at the present, like right now, what are you confident in? What might be your team? It might be, like Heather, they've got a location that's ready to open up, 100% occupied. It might be just the brand that you're part of. It might even just be the for Ryan Casey, that the government hasn't completely shut them down for the next 10 years. So what are you confident in? And what do you lack? You know, is it part of your team? Is it your leader at your team? Or is it some of their players on your team? Is it a skill set with your team? Is it a skill set that you're lacking? What is it right now that you wish you had more of? Something that you're confident that you have a lot of, or you're confident in, and something that you wish you had, something that you don't have today. And then as we look out into the future, what are you excited about? And what do you worry about? It's like, what gets you excited when you look into the future? You know, I see for Nick, you know, as he's been going through, you know, a time of decision making, and now the decision's been made, and now he's gets to go forward and go look for that location and gets to execute on that. And what are you worried about? What are those things that just are on your mind? So again, we'll just kind of go through this real fast. And then at the bottom, it's the focus 5. What must happen in the next 90 days for you to feel more pride, confidence, and excitement? So it's for that future thing. These are 5 areas that you might need help in from anybody in the mastermind as well. But 5 areas, and they're specifics.
Hey, Eric, are these particular to our business life, or could we incorporate personal life goals? Like, when you use this tool, is it just specific to business?
I've done both. And I've done this just like with the family, you know, like I had this with my personal, but then like it's always, family is always on my mind as well as I start to go through an exercise like this. So I have a hard time, if I am just doing personal, Heather, business, I have a hard time not moving into personal with this. Cause that's, I mean, it's, but most of the time people are going to fill this out just purely business. So what must happen in the next 90 days? So, really, these are things that you could, you know, these are things that you're going to need help with, need to get done in the next 90 days. So you start to look at that and like, who is going to be helping you with this, and what do you need to do to start, you know, getting these focus 5 things done? Now we flip the page. On here, just talk, you know, do 1, 2, or 3 big wins, and then bottlenecks that you have. Just bottlenecks in your business, things that are just blocking the business. And then 3 business lessons learned, things that you've learned. So back of the page is just, you know, 3 things: big wins, bottlenecks, and lessons learned. And I have these, so I go back and look at them as I've, you know, in my progression in business. It's been interesting just to kind of see things happen. And when I start to put things on paper like this that are actionable, like I start to actually get things done. Caleb and I are doing this right now with stuff. We are pen and paper, big flip charts in my work, in my gym, in my shop. We were Xing stuff off. We're like, we just need to get certain things done this week, this month. So this is like just called the 90-day game plan. And really it's just to start to put things on paper, just like journaling, but it puts things on paper so you can start to have an understanding of kind of where you've been, lessons learned, where you are, and where you're going. So with this, does anybody have anything that they want to share out of this? Most of the time what we would do is we would go straight into groups right here. And we would be discussing this in a small group and talking about it. And it's an exercise to get to know people. We won't do that right now. Actually, let's do that. Let's do that for Caleb, are you there?
I am, yep.
All right, let's break them into breakout rooms. If you guys can do a breakout room, you know, accept it. If you can't and you're, you know, you got things going on, I get it. So I've been on a Zoom today doing a million different things. So I just don't tell Justin. But it's, why don't we break up into groups just for groups of 4, Caleb, and because I know that people want to get to know each other a little bit more too, but groups of 4, and let's just do 8 to 10 minutes. And then just go over there and you just talk about it. Start out with the thing that you're proud of and the thing that you regret. Go in and just share just a little bit. and then talk about those 5 things. So exercise just to get to know each other, go through that, and we'll see you back here in 8 to 10 minutes.
Eric, you might have to do that from yours. I can't get on my laptop actually.
Always making me work, man. So what's the number that I need here? How many people do we have on? 21. All right. Scott Duncan just came in. This will be good. Whoever gets him into his room, make sure you harass him. All right. So open all rooms, breakout rooms not started. Boom.
Looks like Cynthia joined late, so make sure you get her in her room. I think it says 1 unassigned. Unless that's just you.
Thanks. Not that I know what we're talking about in the room, but I'm trying
Oh
to figure it
yeah,
out.
get ready, get ready.
All right, all right, yes.
So Melissa, I'll get you with Todd. Where is Melissa? All right, you should be with Todd now. Okay, Melissa?
Yeah, I can't join from my laptop, which is super weird.
Hmm.
Hey, Eric, can you put me in the room with Terry?
You got it. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay.
Hey Eric, if Tim tries to enter again, can you try to admit him? I've tried like 3 times and it won't let him in.
Yeah, crazy. When you do the recordings, Caleb, do you do you cut out this middle part? Is it easy to do or not on when we're doing this?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. We've never done one like this before where there's breakout rooms, so I'll definitely cut that out for sure. But usually there's just a little bit of space in the beginning. And it's not too bad.
Can you tell me when 4 minutes is up, Caleb?
Yep, sure.
This is Tim. I got something froze up and I got kicked out of my room, or I had to shut down and restart.
What room were you in, Tim? Do you remember who was in there?
With Scott Duncan.
All right, I'll get you over there.
Well, I had a question first. I'm kind of in that I'm working full time. We got our first studio up and running. Grand opening's actually this weekend, and your description on the franchise secrets of how hard it is to get number 2 off the ground when you're in my situation keeps haunting me. I don't have time to take as much advantage of this mastermind as I'd like.
Yep.
Is the material like archived somewhere where I can go watch it later on?
Caleb, can you reach out to Tim and show him how to review everything? And yes, it is, Tim, and we're actually making it even better and easier, but Caleb will walk you through it. And Caleb, why don't you make like a Loom video so he can see it as well?
Okay, I
Yeah,
really
sounds-
thank you guys.
100%.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, I'll get you over with Scott. It's good feedback, Caleb.
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
Is it 4 minutes yet up, Caleb?
No, we got about 2 more minutes left. All right, you can go ahead and bring them back now.
Wait. That was 5. I said 5 minutes, right?
You told me 4, but
Or, okay.
we can go till 3:45 if you want to. You want to give them another 5 minutes, you said?
I just did. I just told everyone.
Okay, sounds good.
So just remind me.
Cool. I'll bring them back at 3:50.
Perfect.
Hey, Eric, are we still in breakout rooms?
Yeah, we're just about ready to bring them back.
Oh, okay, I'll just wait here.
Yeah.
Okay. Time is up.
Bringing him back. Oh, did I not? Dude, I didn't. I did it in this chat. Hold on. 30 seconds. So I didn't broadcast to everyone in the chat. I did it. I'm learning. So I didn't announce it in the breakout rooms.
Oh, okay. So they're like wondering what's up.
Such a rookie. All right, I'm going to bring him.
Sounds good.
Eric, when you have a chance, can you send me your equipment list, your walking machine and your desk?
Yes, yes. Caleb, yes. What else do you want?
That's it, because I'm gonna be moving my office, and I want to get a stand-up desk and a walker.
I got the yeah, I'll get it to you.
Thank you.
So guys, I apologize. I did not give updates. I thought I was giving updates, but I was doing it in the chat in front of me, but I don't think I sent it to all the breakout rooms. So
Only somebody had to warn you about that.
you all had to warn me about that. And then I thought I did it right, but I did it absolutely wrong. Do you guys like those
All right.
breakout rooms?
Sung, Nick, and I had so much time on our hands there without direction from you that we were like 500,000 more deep into ETH now. So we're just bought it all up.
I like it. All right. How was that, guys? Was that good? Do you guys like having those groups? Because I'm not good at always allowing space for those groups. Do you want more of those groups? Or just every now and then? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Because it doesn't matter to me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Caleb, I don't have any side bets on this. Helpful. Okay. All right. Good, Sung. I'll jump around. I'll get into those groups. Caleb, make sure I do that next time. Awesome. Okay. More breakouts. Perfect. All right. Let's go through the big breakthrough. Love it, guys. Big takeaways. Just a couple people. What did you hear somebody else say? You can name it by name or not, but what did you hear somebody else say that you're like, wow, I like that, or I learned something, or I appreciate that?
Well, Todd Bain had to point out to me what I was proud of. I couldn't remember what the hell I was proud of for the past.
I know what you were proud of. Seeing you put on a convention. That's amazing.
That too. I forgot about that.
We need people around us to remind ourselves of that stuff. Anybody else?
Sung said something right at the end that I may not paraphrase it as well as he said it, but we were just talking about different things that we're doing within our businesses, and he said, one of the things he's really been focusing on is being very intentional about creating the culture that he wants within his business, which not new to me. I think about that as well, but it's something we were just talking about today with my operations manager. And he said, you know, if you aren't intentional about it, it's a very good likelihood that your organization will develop its own and you may not like it, which I think is very fair and an important piece for sure.
Love that. Just to piggyback on that, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's Brian Scudamore with 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and he just sent me an email back because one of the things Caleb and I were doing was planning out getting the right speakers for the next Scale Mastermind event, and Brian Scudamore is likely to be one of those. And as you know, with 1-800-GOT-JUNK and O2E brands, he is the culture guy. Like he's amazing with that, and especially with service-based stuff, because that's his thing, Chris. So you'll love that. So awesome. One other person. Anybody else? Or not? All right. Let's go through the big breakthrough real quick, and either we'll do this. You guys will take a vote. You guys do this. We'll go through some breakout rooms and do this, or we can just do it in this group of 25 of us. So the big breakthrough worksheet, guys, this is masterminding. The big breakthrough worksheet is exactly what a mastermind is. So my biggest challenge is, and then you have my specific question is, so think about that. Go through your other sheet, and what is the one big challenge that you have in your business? And I like this because you can write down what your biggest challenge is. It might be employees. It might be, whatever it is, marketing. Doesn't matter what it is. But then you have to boil it down into my specific question is, and then you write out your question. And this is where you can do this with your departments, because this helps you bring it down to a specific question. Helps us as entrepreneurs do that, and it helps your team do that too. Because what happens, you get a group of entrepreneurs and you say, I have a challenge, and then all the entrepreneurs, we all have opinions, and we will, the first one to give an opinion, which is usually me in a group like this, which I'm very opposite when I'm in other groups, but in a group like this, I'm the first one to pipe in, and the first one to pipe in is usually the stupidest person, the dumbest person, and just giving their opinion on stuff that they know a little bit about. So, so your biggest challenge is, and then write it into a question. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a typical mastermind. So what that looks like is you're in a group, whether it's 4 or 5 people, or we'll do it in a group here, whatever you guys want to do. And then you'll say, my biggest challenge is, whatever. My specific question is, and you'll say it like this, my specific question is, da, 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 da. And then it's time for clarifying questions. And just a couple minutes of clarifying questions. We get to ask clarifying questions, and we don't start to give opinions or start to solve anything or start to give advice. It is just asking clarifying questions, because you as a person saying my specific question is, you're not going to feel like you're really giving good context. But that's just 2 minutes of back and forth. And really, then it's time for feedback. And this is what really should happen. You or the leader of the group or you says, does anybody have direct experience with this? Again, because we all have opinions, and some of us are willing to offer opinions faster than we should, pointing to myself here. And then, so we'll find out who has specific experience with this type of issue. And then who has indirect experience? Maybe that is my friend this, or somebody that I know this. So indirect experience, and then it's just, whatever. It's opinion after that. And that's when it starts to go downhill. But anyway, so then for you write your feedback and notes, and then key insight, and then the action items. But this is typical masterminding. So as a vote in the chat, do you guys want to do this in a larger group, or do you guys want to do breakout groups with this, or a combination of both? It's up to you guys. Large group. Large group. Large group. Looks like Heather had a really good one. Large group. We're doing large group. Sorry, Heather. Okay. Who wants to go first? Hey, you guys want to go in your breakout room? We can send you to the breakout room. We just won't let you back in. Heather, Stephen, do you guys want to go to a breakout room? Caleb, I'll let you deal with those characters, those cast of characters right there. Can you send them into a breakout room?
They just want to keep talking hockey smack.
I know. Do whatever they want to do. It's unbelievable. Who wants to go first? What's the big challenge? What's your specific question? Who wants to go first? And we'll keep this somewhat moving fast.
I'll go.
So Todd, what's your biggest challenge in a sentence? Or not, let's just start with your question. So say my specific question is, and then read your specific question.
Okay, so my specific question is, how do I train or coach consistency?
Clarifying questions, people. Consistency with who?
With our front desk associates or stylists. This can go for either of our franchises because it's the same situation. For our Massage Envy front desk associates or our Sport Clip stylists.
What do you need them to be consistent in?
We need our stylists to be consistent with their 5-point play, or our front desk associates to be consistent with their wellness plan. Their wellness plan presentation, Yoel.
Do you have anything in place to try to drive those behaviors right now?
Yes, we do. So that's why I'm looking for consistency.
All right. Who has direct experience with this? Consistency with your staff, kind of staff period, or customer facing staff?
So it would fall right in line with Orange Theory selling the memberships.
Yes, so I kind of have some in that. We usually, do you want me to explain what we do, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a sales script that's how they train. And then after that, they have a form in front of them whenever they're talking to a customer that kind of goes over each question, and then they have a spot to answer. So it's always kind of the same consistent conversation that they're having.
But how do you know it's being done 100% of the time? That's why I'm saying the consistency of it.
If it's over the phone, we have phone recordings of the conversation, so we can go back and check and retrain. We can spot check and see how that's going.
Todd, are there managers on duty?
The majority of the time.
So are they in the shadows listening?
They're supposed to be.
Kind of the wingman deal?
At times.
And are they providing direct feedback?
The majority of the time. But there are times, the managers aren't there 24/7.
That's good.
Right.
You said this is part of your sales process, Todd?
It is. There's an introduction, when the clients come in and they find out why they're there, what they are needing in their massage. And then they're supposed to, role play and do wingman and go through the process while the massage is taking place. And then when the client comes out, they're supposed to, ask, hey, how was it? And then present their wellness plan, which is selling the membership. But, Ryan has done an excellent job at training our staff, and sales are great. I'm just looking for, hey, how do we go from 80% presentation to 85, 90, 95, 100% presentation, that consistency.
Well, part of it is, I assume these are commission-based people, or they get some sort of bonus based on
They get
their
bonuses.
sales.
Yes, they do. They
And
do.
we-
And the more they sell, the higher the bonus.
Well, besides, we had a checklist that everybody had to go through and check off everything that they were supposed to have done. But also, if you get everything done, we basically set 2 tiers of our commissions. And you got a commission just for getting the sale, but you had a different tier or an extra bonus for having everything 100% done. And we didn't have to go back and find any extra information on or anything like that. That helped us a little bit.
Yeah, are you doing anything as far as like making your employee stats public to the other employees? Are you doing anything that would be like a team-based competition or, anything kind of friendly competitions that would encourage them to encourage each other?
Sure, we run monthly contests. They also have a leadership board that they are responsible for updating themselves each and every day when they report in for their shift. So that way they're personally accountable for it and they see their own stats. And it's right there so they can see the other front desk associate stats. So if they are of a competitive nature, they can see where they stand.
So Todd, it sounds like, go ahead, Henry.
Hey, Todd. We religiously, and we've tailored the guest log so that it almost acts as an audit for did we follow the sales process, because they have to put the outcome, did the guest join or not, and if they and they have to write down, did I identify the need, what was that need, what potential objection, and then if they joined, great, it's checked off yes. If no, then why? What was the reason that they didn't join? And the reason why we record all of that is because those that didn't join the first time, we're going to invite them back in for another introductory session and pitch them again. But we know if that's not complete, then we know that they didn't do it. So I can send that to you. Remind me.
Right, will do. Thanks, Henry.
So when I hear Todd talk about that, he's an 8 out of 10. It sounds like. Todd, would you say you're an 8 out of 10 with everything?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Well, this is the separating the just the people that are doing really, really well to like it, just on point with everything. I was talking to a kid, 26 years old, with Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street. He was in a breakout session with me. He's doing $100 million in solar this year with a net profit of 12 to 15 million. And it's his second year in business. And I'm like, what are you doing differently? And it's just, he has a fanatical team that would just, do anything for him. And Jordan was just like, this is unheard of. I can't believe you're doing this. And because Jordan knows this solar industry, but the guy is just next level with his team of door knockers. So people out there just door knocking. And Ryan, you probably know a bit about this type of thing, but like these guys, he's recruiting them from different places and they're just killing it out there. So when I hear you say that, it's like, you're doing really, really well, but how do you get just to the next level on something? So how much of that is mindset, guys in the room? Like how much of that is mindset training for your people versus like going from an 8 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10? Like what are some things like that we all take away to get to that next level in our team with consistency or anything? Any thoughts on that?
Right, and you got to keep in mind, just like with Ron and everybody who's in like Orange Theory or any membership-based sell recurring revenue type system, that at our front desk is anywhere from basically 20-year-olds to 30-year-olds who our motivation set and our mindset is totally different than their mindset, and especially on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis. And so that's what I'm looking for is, where do we get that consistency? Not from us, because by golly, there's not a person walking out of there that I'm not telling the wellness plan about, right? but I'm not there because I'm setting my team up and my infrastructure up. So I'm here learning from y'all. Right? So where do we get to that point? Because like I said, taking Ryan's classes and introducing my team to Ryan, our sales have tripled percentage wise in the short time that Ryan has spent with them. It's been amazing results. Stephen and Henry can vouch for what I'm saying because they see my results. And they can go back and look at those results with what Ryan has done with our teams. It's just, and it's been consistent ever since we went to Ryan. We are getting shout outs from our regional developers and from corporate anytime they're on any of the calls with our teams or our regional teams, not because of the outstanding, all of a sudden we're closing at 50 or 60%, but because now we're closing at 25 to 35% month in, month out, and it's consistent, which is where we want. We're no longer on the roller coaster. We're right here. We're right where we need to be to continue to grow the clinics. We're, you know, we don't have the, well, we sold 60 memberships this month, and now we sold 10 memberships this month. We have that consistent basis that we needed, thanks to Ryan. So now how do we go to that next level? And how do we get their mindset to that next level?
So what was Ryan's last name?
Thank you for all the razzing, guys. But
don't forget, I got that free set of Ginsu knives also in the mail still coming.
Yeah.
Ryan, seriously though, I mean, you are amazing at this. Not only like what you're doing at Orange Theory and how you're training people, but just what you've seen at Cutco. So I'd love your input on this.
Yeah, I have something to add with the 80% to the 100%. And, you know, Todd mentioned they're not managers, not there all the time. You talked about the kid killing it with solar. And I think it was Chris who mentioned earlier about the culture. Like the culture is what's different. When you're working with the 18, 20, 25-year-old kids, you know, the mindset's totally different. They don't own the business. There's got to be something in place that's going to make them think differently than just showing up to a job. Because if it's just the job, even if the best people are only going to put in so much effort, and especially they're shown in, day out, they're not going to give it, you know, full bore 100% every single minute of every single shift, unless there's something around them that's keeping them accountable where everybody's bought into that. And so, you know, those team goals, the competition with teams, showing them how they play a bigger role than just their individual results, how the accountability on every one of those steps, it doesn't seem like a big deal on an individual basis, but when you look at how that plays a role in us doing what we're doing as a team, that starts, you know, catching some of the places where they're like, if it was just me, I'd probably slip, but I know these other people are counting on me. That's when they start pulling through more, and you get the extraordinary performance from ordinary people.
Thank you. I just didn't want to say.
I like it.
That'd be my 2 cents.
Thank
Awesome.
you, Ryan.
Ryan, you're amazing. I just won't type that in there. Caleb, make sure we cut that out of the recording, please.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm going to work with Ron to figure out how we do it with Sport Clips to, you know, train the staff to do the 5-point play consistently. That's my next step with Ron, is let's figure out how to put it in place at Sport Clips. His training.
Ryan needs to raise his prices.
He can use me as his guinea pig, and then we'll figure out how to raise prices.
Not yet, please, not yet.
I'll chime in, and Ryan should raise prices, but not till we do the refresher course. But yeah, I know Van Horn keeps busting, you know, Ryan's chops, and on purpose, but Ryan is just such a simple, humble, like he's just so classic, you know, that he sheds praise. But this guy's a rock star. His program's awesome. I absolutely echo everything Todd said. If we didn't distract our own staff with yet another, I mean, we throw a lot of training at our people. We go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. Sometimes I wonder if we should take a step back and just do Ryan's again and again. I mean, we already paid for it, right? It's recorded, not to take money away from Ryan, because he should raise prices for this exact suggestion. Your content's amazing. And once we have it, we have it. And so then that becomes your IP. So it's, you know, I've reread Rich Dad Poor Dad books 6 or 7 times over and learned something new every single time I do. And I think that's the same with Ryan's trainings. And I think what he said to Todd about the culture is spot on. You know, kids at that age, they want to go somewhere where they're having fun. It's about fun. It's about positivity, because guess what? kids and teenagers at that age are trying to get the hell away from their parents. So they need an adult that is willing to be a cool adult and teach them the way, because their parents might have been awesome teaching them great lessons, but they're not listening to their parents because they're their parents. So I fully agree with what Ryan said. Todd, getting to know you more and more lately, like, you get it. You're trying to figure out, how do I tap into the mentality at the age level? Because yeah, we're full of wisdom. We didn't have this wisdom back when we were trying to inspire the folks that are the critical pivotal point of our businesses in service and sales. We're all trying to find that diamond in the rough to make them a rock star, and they're there. The pool of people are not changing. It's up to us to develop that culture. So anyway, Ryan, back to the original point. You're amazing, dude. Keep doing what you're doing. We love your program, and thanks.
Yeah, our corporate rolled out a new sales training, and we told the regional director we're not going to use it. We're following the real sales training method, and he can't say anything because we're crushing it in our region. I mean, like, all of our locations are like always in the top. So, so kudos to Ryan for sure.
For those of you that are in the scale, make sure you let me know what topics to cover on the monthly, because monthly we're doing a manager training, and that's included with the scale. That's just part of it. And I'll work with whatever. And again, I'd love to bring a lot of you in there. This next one coming up, I think it's May 4th. We're going to do staff focus on running staff meetings, but that's just from, I was talking with Brandy and she had a question about staff meetings. I'm like, I don't have a topic for next month. Let's do that one. So let me know the stuff that we want to cover on those scale manager trainings. I'm happy to do that.
Awesome. Ryan, just real quick, do you have any other like challenges or anything coming up for people, or do we need to do like just have you do a training for the mastermind members?
I moved everything so it's recorded now, and I broke down all the there's like 8 hours of question and answer that's broken down like per question, so you don't have to just watch it. You just look for what the question is, and there's like 8 hours worth of stuff. So
how much
I'm
is
getting all that stuff right now? It's 1,000.
Yeah, steal. That's a steal. Seriously. All right. Anybody else have a challenge that they would like some help with right now? This is the time.
I'll just say I have the same challenge that Todd has right now with hiring front desk and wellness advisors for my studio. So same. So the input was helpful from everyone. Thank you.
I'm having a hard time hiring operations individual. Skilled talent has been very costly. I don't know if you guys are running into that at all, but where I live in Seattle, I feel like everybody wants $150,000 sales base salary plus commissions. And what do you guys think about operational roles remote? I know we're in that era in time frame. Critical roles, do you go against what you believe and try to keep them local, or do you pivot with the times? What would you do?
What's the role of the operations person?
To help support onboarding and ongoing support for brands. So what I do, guys, you guys are all in franchising. I'm a franchise sales organization. I represent 3 brands right now. We have 12 between my sister company and my office. And I'm looking for someone on the VP of operations role to help manage onboarding of new franchisors. So imagine finding Mosquito Joe when it was, 4 or 5 locations, right? Orange Theory, imagine finding Orange Theory with 10, 15 locations, and then we do the development arm. But that onboarding is pretty heavy lifting. And the pay that I have out there right now is I think a pretty solid base. It's 85,000 solid, and I can't find anywhere in Seattle that will bite on that. And now I'm looking at Boise, Idaho as potential hires because it's just cost of living, and I can get people are applying in Boise. No one's applying in Seattle.
And it's a full-time, you couldn't do like a shared role with another, it's a full-time position, right?
Yeah, it's a full-time position.
So who here has an employee that is a high-level employee to you? Doesn't necessarily mean it needs to be they're getting paid a lot of money, but a very high-level employee to you in your organization that is remote. Does anybody have that?
Yeah, our area manager, we live in Lubbock and our area manager lives in El Paso.
Okay.
Which is 6 hours, a 6-hour drive.
Do you meet with them regularly? I know on Zoom, but do you meet face to face with them?
Yes, we have daily conversations, of course, by text and by Zoom, you know, whatever is necessary, Sung. But yes, we will meet with her probably face to face. Now, we just initially took over these stores, so of course we've naturally been meeting face to face more often. But once everything gets in place and gets operational to where we're all settled down, that will probably become twice a month.
Okay. So Sung, at Horsepower Brands, we are requiring everybody to eventually move to Omaha. So, or at least be willing to. Right now, everyone is moving there or has moved there. So we have the opposite problem. We're asking them to move to probably wherever they're living is cooler than Omaha, but we're asking them to, you know, to move to Omaha. That's, and I didn't have a strong opinion on that. So I was agnostic. I didn't care. I'm like, guys, I know people that are crushing it out there, having people work from wherever. And then I know why we would want to have them locally. Some friends of mine, Chris and Taylor, they run a company called Traffic and Funnels, and they have everybody in 2 main offices so they can be around there. But they're like, they have a real team, sales teams and things like that. So they require them to be either in Nashville or Charlotte, where their 2 corporate headquarters are. And that's not a non-franchising business. And yet I know other people that like love the fact that they're able to hire wherever. So if it was me, I would probably find the best person and then see if it works out. And especially, you know, because with brands, they might need to fly in once or twice a week, but do they need to be in the office? I mean, is it an office? Do they need to be interacting with people?
I mean, not so much. I mean, I feel like, Eric, you know, you asked me that question 18 months ago, I would say yes, you know. Now it's not so much with COVID. So they wouldn't need to be so much interacting, but I would need them to present and, you know, jump on Zoom calls. So, I mean, I'm more open to the idea, but it's where it goes back to me and Chris's conversation. If you're not intentional with your culture, there's going to be a culture that gets created, whether you like it or not, right? So I'm just trying to be intentional as much as possible. And I go back to my conversation with Ryan Zing too. I mean, he was the same way. He was like, bring them to, you got to come to Omaha. If you're going to jump on board, you got to come to Omaha. And somewhere in the back of my mind, that is still resonating. I just can't force anybody from Boise to come to Seattle. I mean, it's just the cost of living here is pretty expensive. So.
Right. What about, Eric, you can touch base more about this, Sung, with what you're running into salary-wise, the phantom equity and other possible bonus scenarios you could set up to compensate for the 150,000. And Eric could probably talk more about that, Sung, but, you know, or, you know, crypto bonuses or something, you know, I'm just throwing that out there. I know some may laugh, but for that generation and everything, and for what's coming out, you know, there's some other opportunities to maybe overcome the 150,000, especially as you're growing the business and the network of franchises that you add.
No, Todd, you nailed it. That's exactly, I think that was the direction, the only direction I was going if I'm going to go after that. But Eric, I'd love to hear your opinion on that.
So we're dealing with it now in different businesses, so multiple different businesses. Same type of thing, different levels of person and different levels of salary, very different levels of salary and the type of person. But I really needed to understand the market rate for the type of person that I was wanting. And so even backing up, when I first hired Paula for Mighty Dog Roofing as the director of marketing, you know, I had my idea what I thought salary was for that. But I was wrong. It was more than I thought. And so, you know, so I had to go through quite a few different interviews and to understand interviews and then job offers to understand what I got for what kind of a wage. So that was one thing that helped me. And I did that pretty fast and furious because I realized I just didn't know what I didn't know. So I really started to talk to people from outside of Omaha and within Omaha. That way, when I did find the right person, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, we cannot let this person go. So that was one thing that one takeaway that I had going through an exercise like this. Another one is they have a salary, and right now we're getting ready to hire somebody away at a lesser salary for a bigger opportunity. And so they're like, I need to make I can't remember, 250,000. Like that's their number. They're leaving a $250,000 a year job to come with us, and they want equity and things like that. And we're not giving up equity in our stuff, but we will have some profit sharing and things like that that will happen, or some type of bonus type activity. But anyway, with that, we basically said, yeah, we want to get you there. We just can't right now. And this is the path to get there. So you want to make 250, we want to help you get there and make more. And that's looking like that's going a good direction. So I didn't shy away from that number that they needed or wanted, but it's like, how do we get you there? And it may not look like you are making that right away. Same thing in a different business. We had a higher level person that we hired for this position. And this is not with Mighty Dog, not with Horsepower. And we went to them and they had a number, it was $100,000. And so we looked at that and like, how can we afford that? And so we tied that directly to P&L outcomes. And so if you think you can get us there, then we will pay you this, but it's going to start out really low. And what was important to us that we keep this person for 6 months and 12 months and 18 months and 2 years. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth it for us. So we had built into the salary, let's just call it we want to get her to 80,000 salary right away, year one guaranteed. But we started her out at 60. These numbers are not exactly right, but you get the picture. Yeah. Started out at 60, and then every month she's getting a bonus of, I don't know, $1,000 or $2,000, but we are not going to start paying that until month 6. We'll give her a little bit of that. And then month 12, she gets all of that. Because in that thing, we needed her to stay for at least 12 months. Otherwise, it's just not worth it for us. So we said yes, but we said yes, but here's how we're going to do it. We need to be on the same page to be able to get you there. So, I don't know if any of that's helpful, but that is exactly what we've done. But I think starting out with, what do you get in Boise and what do you get in Seattle?
Mm-hmm. I was just shocked. I mean, I thought that there were still 10 million people that were unemployed in America, and I thought people would be lining up for this job, but it's not the case. So,
well, guys, and there's some stuff, this is kind of going off a little bit, but as I've been just studying just the economy and crypto and just macroeconomics and whatnot, just a little bit more, Scott and I had a call today with a financial guy and a crypto guy, and we were just asking him questions. And Scott, you want to share about kind of that macro economy and why, with the lending and all of that stuff, you wanted to share some insights, some takeaways from that conversation?
Yeah, I'll do my best. I mean, basically it's just we're at the very beginning when it comes to crypto, it sounds like, but based on all of the money that's flooding the economy right now, that's just providing even more opportunity, because a lot of people are chasing crypto right now, which is driving it up. But those will be the same people that will be trying to bail as soon as things start to look like they're going down. But macro, I think what you mean by macroeconomically, if you're able to, the more you understand it, the more you're comfortable with those small swings, because kind of like long-term where it's going, where so many people that are getting into that game right now are just getting in to try to make a quick dollar, try to get in, try to get out. And so, it's the same thing with the stock market, where you got a lot of people who don't have the stomach to maybe stay in through the little bit of the swings to see the bigger picture. So I don't know how specific you want to go, Eric, on
How this
kind of
relates to this conversation is because he was talking like, as long as there's
Yeah.
money's easy. We're just
Yes.
giving all this unemployment to people, right? They don't need to work. Inflation is, who knows what inflation really is right now? Like actual inflation, we'd probably be shocked if we knew what it actually was. But the point of it is, he's like, lending's easy. People can get money in some ways, right? Sometimes when they're buying franchises doesn't seem so easy, but this the money going into the market, it's easy to get loans. He said, as soon as that starts to get tightened up, that's when we'll start to see the economy start to shift and whatnot. And that's when, the bubbles happen as long as there's money going into the market. So as we just look at the economy right now and just the unemployment and how we're just propping everybody up. And that's why we can't hire really good people, especially people, low wage employees on the front line. I mean, it's hard to get them because they'd rather just collect unemployment. So I don't even know where I was going with that, but
Sung's problem is, but also Eric, Sung's problem is the opposite problem, right? All the people who are unemployment are all the people of the frontline jobs, which are really challenging. The high end jobs are not where the people are unemployed. Those all we thought were going to crash at the beginning, and then they ended up spiking because that's where all the wealth started getting created.
And that's going to continue to happen.
Good point. But inflation's got to be real, Eric. My $100 10 years ago doesn't buy me the same thing $100 does today. So it's got to be real. There's got to be some sort of a recorrection, right? Sooner than later, or sooner or later.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy out there right now. I'll bring some smart people much smarter than me in to talk about some of this stuff over the summer. Because it's impacting us with our people, our employees. I mean, there's real impact to us as business owners with all of this stuff. Like Todd said, when the oil's booming, they run into the same issue in Midland. Anything else? Anything else? That you want to talk about?
No, I think, the labor supply, it's an issue in any industry. Look, if you're a software company, you're belly aching because you can't hire enough good developers. If you're in the massage industry, you can't hire enough massage therapists. If you're in the roofing business, it's hard to find good people to work that business. In any industry, that's the biggest constraint.
People. Human resources. Anybody have any books, podcasts, things around some of this discussion, whether it's people, it's culture, anything that you're listening to, watching, reading, people that you follow on that might be helpful for some of us to walk away with?
Hey, Eric, I'm gonna call you out, brother, with all that networking and connections you got. When it comes to people and recruiting and retention, first name that comes to mind, especially from probably my most favorite podcast you put out ever, was with Cameron Harold. Can you get that cat on here to talk to us?
Yep.
Because I agree with Henry. I mean, it's not often I do agree with Henry, but I mean, we're people business oriented. That's why we make money, because we're in the service business. And I tell our people all the time, if it was easy, anybody could do it. This stuff is not easy. It is so hard.
What did you like most about Cameron? What did you want Cameron to talk about?
Whatever he wants.
And
to
that's
talk
why
about.
culture is important.
I mean, that's my easy answer. But it starts at recruiting. It starts at the first conversation that we have with people. I mean, I continually, ever since I've heard that podcast, the bell that I ring as often as I can with our recruiters is, you got to build the relationship at the beginning and set the expectations from the start and from the jump, because we got to be different. We cannot allow them to come. They're coming to our place with the expectation of whatever the industry has provided them. story that I will tell is, you know, when we got into massage business, we were told that most people don't last for 6 months to a year. It's a very transient business. They move and they hop. That was great. That became my challenge. My benchmark was if I can get them to stay for a year, woohoo. and then it became, if I can get them to stay for 2 years, woohoo. And it just kind of started to build into the comp plan, retention, culture. Like, what do we need to do to keep these people? Because businesses are failing because they can't keep their people. Where do we invest most of our money? I mean, it's in keeping our people. It's recycling, training, you know. And Cameron Harold gave the best interview podcast with you, and your questions were awesome. That just kept him on going on. And I loved how he started from the jump. He's like, look, I'm going to make a commitment to you. If I train you, it's going to cost me this much money, which means in order to replace that money, I need you to stay for 2 years. So if you're not willing to stay for 2 years, I'm going to run around and chase you down with a baseball bat. And, you know, and he laughed and he chuckled, right? And it was funny, but it's the truth. Like, you're basically telling him, I'm committing to you. Will you commit to me? And if you can't commit for 2 years, just don't accept my job. It's cool. I'm okay with that. You won't hurt my feelings, right? But if you do accept it, I'm going to expect you to stay for 2, because that's how long it's going to take to get you to be the person that you and I both want you to be. Like, Cameron Harold is the bomb. If you can get him on this, that would be so, so critical, man.
He is good. I don't know if anyone saw a recent post he threw up on LinkedIn. It's a letter he's writing to the Canadian government. I was in tears. He's actually very humorous as well.
Was it inappropriate that I asked him not to send it on the day that Wayne Gretzky retired? Was that okay? I hope I didn't offend him, but I was dead serious. I'm like, not a good idea to send it on the day that Wayne Gretzky retired, the favorite son, right?
Perfect.
Eric, I put out, oh, sorry. Real quick in the chat, I
Go
think
ahead.
Traction is such a powerful book for just creating scorecards that takes the emotion out of it. So it's either people are hitting those areas of target or they're not, and they can see it on the scorecard and you can see it on the scorecard. And so it takes a lot of that feeling and the ick factor out of it when you have to have hard conversations or hold people accountable. And I think people appreciate targets and appreciate clarity around our expectations for them.
100%. Yep, we're doing Traction at Mighty Dog, and it's been fantastic. Like, I've never done it before, and I love it.
Eric, a book I just finished recently is Home Service Millionaire. Have you read that?
Oh, Tommy? Did Tommy write that?
Yeah, Tommy Mello.
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I had him on the podcast.
Yeah, he's got a podcast also, and book is it's a short read. It's not a long read, but he does a lot of there's a lot in there on recruiting and culture and training and on having the best trucks, the best uniforms, the best people, and everything being just top notch. And even if you're not in home service, I think there's a lot of great nuggets in there.
Caleb, can you reach out to Tommy to have him do a masterclass for the whole mastermind on just what Trey talked about?
Yeah, for sure.
But you're right. He's so good at that. And so the difference between him and Cameron's talking about what he did in the past. Tommy is the Cameron Harold today, making it happen on a much bigger level. So I just reached out to Cameron as well.
Heard great things about this around the corner, around the world. It's the Dunkin' Donuts story. It's the next one I'm going to start reading.
Awesome. And Caleb's getting a list of all this stuff that we're talking about right here, and he'll put this out in an email so you don't have to worry about grabbing it all. Anybody else that you would like to see, like, in the mastermind or on the podcast, because like I get the ideas from you guys. This is fantastic.
Eric, have you ever spoken to Mike? His last name I'm not going to be able to pronounce. He wrote God, of course, as soon as I started talking, I can't think of it. Profit First.
Yeah. Mike's going to be coming on as well. We just need to buy his books. I can't remember if that was just for scale or not. But yeah, is he scheduled right now, Caleb, or do we not have a date set for Mike?
Remind me of his last name.
Mikalowicz.
He's not scheduled yet.
We'll get him scheduled.
What if we already have his books?
Yeah, that's it. Just take a picture of it.
Yeah, I started using his stuff in my business last year, and it was a financial transformation for sure.
Awesome. All right. Sent to Cameron. Anybody else that you guys want to see? I'm trying to get Jimmy from Jimmy John's. But I like getting the people that are like really well known out there, but then I like the practitioners that are just getting it done. I might not have the name, but they're just getting stuff done.
Should ask Cameron who we should have on.
It's good. I'll make a note of that. I'll do that. I'll follow up with him when he responds. It's pretty easy to get people right now because they're starting to travel a little bit, but they're just not traveling that much. And it's just pulling in favors from people. That's how this whole thing works. Everyone just does favors for each other in this speaker world. I'm not a speaker, but everyone just pulls favor, and I just sneak in and just ask, and they usually say yes. Ryan, there's probably some people in the Cutco world that we both know. I met some more Cutco people this last week that I didn't know were Cutco people. But in terms of whether it's culture or sales, whatever, keep that in mind if we should get some of those guys on.
John Kane might be a good guy for culture. He's, one of Rulin's mentors and has helped develop the full-time sales program. He's been there forever. He's Front Row Dads. He'll be in Florida next week.
Shoot, I can't. I have to go to Charlotte next week. Can you help make an introduction? Or I can just.
I can talk to him next week. I'll see him. He'd be happy to do it.
Awesome. He's just a fantastic guy too, right?
Yeah.
Giver, just a great guy. Awesome. Well, I think we've got Atomic Habits. Yes, Nick, that was it. That's an awesome book, Atomic Habits. Oh, I don't even think I told you this. Chris Voss. You guys know who Chris Voss is? Never Split the Difference. Didn't know he was going to be at in a meeting I was at in Vegas last couple of weeks ago, and there he was. And so I went up and talked to him, and then he recognized me because we talked on the phone before that. But dude, I got to spend a ton of time with him. So I imagine he'll be doing some type of. He'll be on the podcast. He might be on a scale event at some point as well. But Never Split the Difference. That's a great book. Former FBI hostage negotiator. Just we got into some of the stories too of back in the day, which was pretty fascinating. But he's just like, he doesn't even remember who he was. He's like, he's removed from that. He's like, it was an insane world. Somebody from his past life, like reached out to him, and he's just like, I forgot how crazy it was, what he did. But he's brought everything into the business world. And his comment to me was like, gosh, sometimes I'd rather be dealing with kidnappers because they're like, the business world is so savage. He's like, people are just so ruthless out there. He's like, I hate it. So when he was on this phone, when I was on a phone call with him before I actually met him, and then it came from Roland. Roland's the one who introduced us at first. Right after the Scale Mastermind, Chris and I had a half an hour conversation. But anyway, on that conversation, he's like, I want to work with people that have values. And that was, so in the initial 15 minutes of our conversation, it's like, I like you, Eric, because you're not a slime ball. So basically is what it was. So we'll probably get him at least in the podcast. I don't know. I'll try to get him in to do some other things for us as well. All right, guys. Well, I will let everyone go. Reach out to each other in the meantime. Join the Grow or the Scale or both if you're in both Signal channel. I think it's Signal or whatever it is, that new texting channel. Get in there, get with each other, get to know each other more. I'll let you guys go. See ya.